So I got another one of these things in the mail the other day. This would make the third oval chainring I had purchased to slap on one of my bikes, and it really got me thinking about the topic of oblong rings. Though it looks similar to an egg, these little doodads have become quite popular in recent years, especially with the mountain biking scene. The one-by drivetrains commonly found on mountain bikes now make them a great candidate for experimentation with the elliptical cog. But I don't often see the topic covered outside of special articles and certain videos. So what's the deal? For this particular ring, we'll be putting it on my new single speed. Starting from the top, installation is simple. The oval rings can be installed the exact same way as your circular ring, oftentimes using the same bolts to mount them to the spider of the crank. Once you remove the old chainring, be sure to place your bolts to the side and have them ready for whenever you swap them. The hardest part of this installation for us was trying to finagle the chainring off the crank without removing the crank entirely. Once the old one has been slid off, you simply slide the new oval chainring in its place and replace the bolts. As I said, most of the time you can use the bolts that you used for your circular ring. However, if it requires other bolts, 9 times out of 10 the chainring comes with them. The bolts are in and tightened down, and the bike is ready to go. Slightly more odd, but ready to go nonetheless. There are many different types of mounting styles for these rings, and it all depends on your crank. Some are like mine, with a bolt pattern specific to the spider of your crank, like 94 BCD, 96 BCD, and 104 BCD. And then there are some that are direct mount rings that don't use a spider and connect directly to the crank, like the one shown here on my dad's bike. With the easy installation, next, obviously, comes riding the bike. The first question that comes to mind is, how does it feel? And, to be honest, it feels right. Despite the fact that you're pedaling in the oval, your pedal stroke actually feels more circular and smooth. Even pedaling on this flat road on a single speed felt pretty good, despite the fact that my cadence was really high. It's really something you have to try out and feel to understand what I mean, but it's very smooth and a very nice transition between the bottom and top of your pedal stroke. On the trail, that smooth and circular pedal stroke really comes into play. I'll be upfront and tell you, it isn't going to make you a world-class rider, but there is a difference. Near the end of the rides, my legs feel fresher and not as overworked. But the biggest difference, in my opinion, comes from climbing. The smooth pedal strokes transfer your power more evenly, and it makes climbing a little less painful and a little bit faster. Now I'll do my best to try and explain how these work. When pedaling, there is a proverbial dead spot in your pedal stroke. Oval chain rings aim to eliminate that dead spot as quickly as possible. When your feet are parallel with the ground, you are in the most powerful position on your pedals. When your feet are perpendicular to the ground, you are at the weakest part of your pedal stroke. The oval design gives you a wider range to pedal during the power period and a smaller platform during the weak period, so you spin through it as fast as possible to get back into laying down the watts. One of the more interesting aspects with the way that they are designed is the fact that each chainring doesn't quite follow the number of teeth that it has. A 32-tooth circle is different from a 32-tooth oval. In the two different pedaling platforms I described before, you're essentially pedaling through two different chainrings. In the power position, you're using the equivalent of a 34-tooth circle. but in the weak spots, it's more like a 30-tooth circle so that you can quickly spin through that dead spot. This even back and forth swap gives you a smooth pedal stroke and really makes you feel like you're on top of the gearing. The particular chainring that I've shown in this video comes from a company called AbsolutBlack. It's the brand that I'm most familiar with, though this isn't sponsored, it's just by choice. Other companies make oval chainrings, such as Roval, Wolftooth, and 1UP components. But like I said, it's just a choice. With AbsolutBlack, I know what I'm getting. They're great products and they're high quality. If you go to their website, it shows that there's an option for just about every bike and every crank out there. They do a fantastic job of describing which bolt pattern or direct mount chainring goes with which crank, which really eliminates the confusion when ordering your own. And that's all I really have on these oblong doohickeys. They're great products and I definitely give them a solid thumbs up, but the thing is they don't really stand out that much. The best conclusion that I can give is, why not? They don't harm anything and can improve your pedaling and power output. Swapping the chainring is something commonly done by cyclists once a year or so, and these cost roughly the same, if not cheaper, than the replacement rings you'll find for your particular crank, and they're installed the same way. So again, why not give it a try? Thanks for watching.